Okay. Coming back to the last question from my side, given that we have a lot of academicians, students, professors, faculty members as part of our guests, what I want to ask is if somebody wants to look at a career in STEAM engineering, okay, it's a very much on the ground impact kind of a thing. So anybody who wants to actually make an impact in an area of sustainability, STEAM is definitely a career worth pursuing in that case. Yes. My question is multifold actually. So I wanted to understand your journey through the ranks of Forbes Marshall in general and STEAM engineering more specifically, but also in terms of what advice would you give to the students going forward if they want to pursue a career in STEAM?
So I take a step back and say that, before I speak about myself, what would make a good STEAM engineer?
Right.
And there are few things which are very crucial for being future ready, being professional, to look at STEAM as a career. And the first thing which crosses my mind is the problem solving capability. STEAM is a utility where you are always learning. The learning would never end. And if I say this in the context of AI, which is what is the most spoken thing, IoT, Internet of Things, STEAM actually gives you evolution as an engineer to look at technologies which have to be imbibed into products which otherwise were probably mundane or routine expectations. So that's where problem-solving capability, trying to understand why a phenomenon is related to physics on one hand, thermodynamics on the other hand, and the practical usage of production and process efficiencies on the other hand, that curiosity, that problem-solving capability, that engagement with various stakeholders, and not getting limited to you as a siloed engineer in a professional world is very crucial when you look at STEAM as a important facet. And that brings us to two more dimensional thought processes as skill sets. One is design thinking, which means you have to keep on prototyping. You have to keep on experimenting what I think I should do to the STEAM network, by which I'm better than yesterday. And then the whole concept of system thinking. How does what I am doing as a design thinker impact somebody whom I don't see as a part of my system and process?
Right.
What are those, we're talking about in SDG, scope 1, scope 2, scope 3. What is that stakeholder which I am influencing?
Right.
Because I am doing a ethos or a practice at an individual level. And they always say that, why STEAM is an excellent career, because you talk about saving something which actually makes the planet greener.
Yeah. Right.
It's something which is so heartening to do as an engineer, that you as an individual are influencing the carbon footprint in the industry where you are operating. The industry is playing its own role in the country, which is relating itself to the net zero expectation. India has an expectation, has a net zero target of 2070. There are many countries looking at 2050. So how is this engineer within you and the problem solving, critical thinking, design thinking, system thinking helping you to really associate with the country's net zero expectations and look at the global good?
Yeah. Right.
Because that's where the whole journey is about. All countries are talking about net zero.
Yeah.
And so it is very imperative to understand that why a career in STEAM engineering is crucial, because you are going from that individuality and impacting a complete output at a global level.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's something which is very heartening for me. So coming to my journey, I started as a service engineer.
Okay.
In Forbes Marshall as a trainee. I was supposed to look at how these products are managed, what are the nuances of keeping the uptime, the robustness of the product 100%. And that's where, if you are a hands-on engineer, I personally think you would always love to be an engineer all your life.
Right.
And one of the things which I personally feel good about is that while there are a lot of disruptive careers today which influence the whole economics of how I can change my quality of life, which are like the IT sectors, and there could be a lot of service-oriented sectors, I would say that looking at the whole concept of STEAM expertise, you are actually doing good to yourself as an engineer.
Yeah.
You are looking at 80% of that textbook-related theory, which is being practiced completely 100% and not 20% what you otherwise do in practical exams, but 100% in reality.
Yeah.
And then you are also trying to look at shaping up your career. So while I started as a service engineer, I went into really looking at frontline selling. I went into product lifecycle management. I looked at product management in a very systematic role. You have one of the inputs which comes from the marketing guru Philip Kotler, which looks at the 4 Ps of product, price, place, promotion. And I could really relate that to what I'm doing at the reality stage, keeping my engineer instincts intact and not getting swayed by management jargons, and at the same time enabling me to understand the whole dynamics of how I'm future ready as an economist to lead really initiatives which then go beyond the boundaries of looking at product innovation, development on one hand, but at the second hand being sensitive about two things. I really would now say that I'm focusing on looking at customer priorities. So there are industries who are looking at SDG goals. They are looking at what are the priorities by which these industries would be better than yesterday, and customer pain points. How am I as an engineer relating to what would have been better for somebody who's working with my products which are going into a Steam network, and how am I making their life better? So that's the journey where I am. And I would say that career options, enormous. As I said, I moved from a lot of practical dimensions to now a strategic dimension. And strategy is all about making choices. That's the only limited word I would relate to strategy and not make it feel like jargon again. But while I was actually getting through this whole process, I understood that there is so much to learn. There is so much which I didn't know till yesterday, which kept the inquisitiveness and curiosity open in me. And looking at careers, I think you can start from design engineering. There is a whole set of things which I was relating myself and my journey with the piping engineering program, and saying that piping engineers need to really understand and comprehend what happens in the practical plants when they are engineering a system at the design board stage. You look at the whole facet of consultants who actually operate in the space of energy. So you can become energy managers, you can become consultants who really look at carbon footprint reduction, you can look at Internet of Things and AI, how it can play a very disruptive role in trying to make the whole plant more sustainable and more greener. There are options which take us to really looking at mundane things like looking at how you make a career in teaching, given the exposure, because there is this whole world which is now supposed to swing. Academia is supposed to know what's professionally required in the practical world. Right. So how do you really relate yourself as an academician while you are exposed to what is practically happening in the plant? And there, I would say that the world is yours, even if you want to switch careers from a professional to an academician, or you have to really stay as an academician but get engaged. There are so many industries, including Forbes Marshall, who provides the infrastructure. We work with IIT Bombay, we work with IIT Chennai to really see how we can have joint projects which enable us to understand what is that which we can do to really make a better world tomorrow.
Absolutely.